Some minutes here for you.
Yep.
Any comments or edits on those?
No. I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from August 3rd.
Second.
Mike,
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Okay. I also make a motion for this, approve the special meeting of August 4th.
Second.
Mike,
Yes.
John?
Yes. Okay, chief, you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, our current call volume is 482 calls as of today. Last year at this time we had 384. We're up by 98 calls so far. That's all for my report.
One of the things I think would be interesting, and it would be helpful for you guys, keep a record of how many dual calls we have.
Total calls?
Dual calls.
Oh, we're tracking it now.
Mike? I guess I should have gone to you, Jim.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
Want me to go?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Project's coming along very nicely. We, last Thursday, we stripped the site and dug all the footers all the way around in one day. Friday, we came back and got an inspection on the footers, and we poured the foundation. All that was approved, and then today, the masonry started laying up block, foundation wall block, and he's about 75% complete. It'll be done tomorrow. We're going to, the electrician will be on site tomorrow. He's gonna rough in the electric that goes under the floor. We'll get an inspection on that. Wednesday morning, we'll prep the floor, probably Wednesday afternoon for a floor pour Thursday. And then Friday, we'll pour the apron all the way around, and we're done. And we wait on the timber. And we should have about 10 days to wait on the timber. It'll be here early, a lot early. Yeah, instead of the end of September, we'll be here right around Labor Day, somewhere right after Labor Day, about the 6th to the 10th, somewhere in there. We'll have it up by the middle of the month.
Good.
So right now, this Friday, if we get everything poured that we're supposed to, that we have scheduled, and the inspector shows up, so it allows us to pour after he comes. Last time he was an hour late, but it didn't hurt us we might not be able to pour the same day if he's late, but if we get everything done by Friday, we'll be a week ahead of schedule.
This weather hasn't been hurting the project
Oh, it's
at
been
all.
perfect, absolutely perfect, yeah. And I'm pleased because if we pour in this kind of weather, the floor will not dry too fast.
Yeah.
You know, when it was 90, 95 every day, that's real hard on the floor. You gotta wet it down before it dries too fast, you know, so.
When you go to pour a floor like that, and if it does get hot, how are you gonna wet it down?
Just spray it with a hose. Oh, we don't have that, do we? We'll figure something out.
We do have a small 12-volt pump,
Okay,
and it's for spraying all of the paths.
okay. To keep the dust on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
weeds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so maybe the guys could just rig that up and spray the pad.
Okay.
You could spray the pad.
But we're not looking for anything significant. We're supposed to be in the low 80s the rest of the week.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's fine, that'll be perfect.
Well, just so you have an hour.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind, thank you.
Okay. Mike?
I don't have a report.
Okay. I had some stuff Emmerich wrote up. The pavement restriping is finished, and we had two projects for striping. One was where we went with the county and we started to stripe some older roads that needed striping. And then there's striping on the capital improvement paving projects, which are all complete. And they just need, there's a little striping has to be done on Bartholomew and Snow, but they have, the marks are there for the striping. Arrow Mark is supposed to start the crack sealing next week. Well, within the next 2 weeks, let's just say that. I don't know how much clay spoils we moved. Put them out in that weed field that came off of the pavilion excavation. And, I don't know, 20 truckloads or so. So they got that all done this morning. And,
At no cost. All nice free dirt.
our RDRs, I think Emmerich said we're down to 10 right now. And they keep coming in, but we have a pretty good handle on them. And then the next thing we need to get is some athletic turf seed. So we can go around and do around the pavilion and then have some to fill in the holes that are out in the fields and stuff. Everybody's been pretty doggone impressed with that seed we put in there. I think we got that through Tony Blatnick, and Emmerich's gonna contact him. And, see, you know, we had this mammoth bags of seed before. I don't know how small a bag you can get, 25 pounds?
35 pounds is smallest usually.
25? Well, 25 or 50 pounds would take more than it to take care of that project, so. I know it was a little more expensive than regular grass seed, but boy, was it worth it. So, that's what Emmerich had. Fred, what do you have for us?
I got a few things. First off, I want to talk about, we had our budget hearing this morning, and I was, well, I was not really happy with the results of that. The budget was not approved by the Budget Commission. And there was, by at least two of the Budget Commission members, in particular one, that
Let me guess.
there was an insinuation that we are overestimating our expenses, and we are continuing to have large carryovers that are not necessarily appropriate in their opinion. So I reviewed, you know, in these budget hearings, you have 10 minutes. You're basically,
I know, yeah.
you're rushed through. It's a budget hearing, not for you. It's a budget hearing for the commission to make their comments on their budget. And I went through and I reviewed the numbers that were in the report that was cited by one particular member of the Budget Commission. And, you know, going through this report that's prepared by the auditor, they have in their report, for example, if you look in the general fund, they're looking at an estimated ending balance of $46,669. In other words, what they're telling me is that I estimated we were only going to have $46,000 in the general fund at the end of the year. That is not the number that I submitted in our budget. And if you look at our budget, on the second page of our budget, the estimated balance that I gave was $271,964.36. So it's a pretty big disparity.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to track through why they're coming up with this $46,000 number. From what I can surmise from the little time that I've had to go through this, they're using estimated numbers from last year to calculate this number for this year, instead of looking at my updated numbers, which show, again, a $271,964.36 at the end of this year. So it was very frustrating. You know, you don't have time to go through all your paperwork in those 10 minutes to explain or to try and understand what it is, you know, that they're trying to say or where they're coming from. Obviously, there's been a trend that we have underestimated or overestimated, I should say overestimated expenses, and so we've had some rollovers from year to year. That's been getting progressively better. And it's, you know, what really frustrates me is the political, the political statements that are such as, you know, we're misleading our voters, our residents, our taxpayers, and that's very frustrating. I have to go back to the Budget Commission to re-present our budget. I do have a tentative meeting with Auditor Chuck Walder to go over these issues. I have to say that Chuck has a very good understanding and knowledge of these numbers. He was a fiscal officer at one point, and so he understands how these numbers work, and he understands how these reports are generated from the auditor's office. So I think I can have a good conversation with him, and hopefully we can present to the other two members of the commission.
We're putting out road projects for bid
Correct.
of $1 million
Right,
every year.
yes.
So all you have to do is have a small kink in the price of asphalt, and you're screwed.
Well, I'm looking at this, and you know, I'm struggling to figure out how we pay for this pavilion, honestly, to be honest with you. You know, I'm struggling to figure out, you know, do we have enough money, can we juggle enough money around to pay for the pavilion project? And here I'm being told that I'm overestimating our expenses, and it makes no sense to me whatsoever.
That's what you call politics.
I have, you know, when I'm looking at this, you know, I'm looking at having a carryover of $271,000 in the general fund, and it's probably gonna be a lot less than that.
Yeah.
Based on those expenses, and there's other expenses that have come up that we didn't even think about when I put the budget together. So it's very frustrating, and it's the same person every year that likes to grandstand, a person that I see once a year. I've never seen that person at this meeting. I never see him at any Jaga County Township Association meetings. I never see that person but once a year when he gets a chance to grandstand about how much the townships and other entities are spending, and that they're overestimating their expenses and they keep rolling over too much money, because it's bad to have too much money. So, and I get the issue, but, you know, there's that, and then there's the, you know, there was criticism about the 2191 fire fund, which, you know, we're not even gonna make it unless we put money from the general fund into that fund for expenses. And I'm getting flack for, he's saying, well, let me give you another example. They're saying that I've estimated we'll only have $15,548 at the end of the year for the fire fund. Patently false, first of all, because if you look at my budget, the number that's in there is $127,225. Write that down, Diane. It is, first of all, these numbers that are on this report for the estimated ending balance are useless.
Exactly, I agree with you.
They're absolutely useless.
And it's been that way
It's
for a long
based
time.
on prior year estimates. It does not take into account any changes that were made for this fiscal year. So, obviously, you can understand that I was very frustrated
I appreciate
by the
your
entire
efforts.
interaction. Other than that, I do have some resolutions. I've got your regular reports in front of you. Your fund summary report, your revenue summary report, your appropriation summary report, and your payment listing report totaling $133,621.51 for warrants 5937 through 5975. I have two resolutions for supplemental appropriations. The first is for, we need supplemental appropriations for the construction of a pavilion at Auburn Community Park, Resolution 2020-23. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Jaga County, Ohio, that the following supplemental appropriations are necessary to pay for the construction of a pavilion at Auburn Community Park per the terms of a proposal accepted by the board on May 18, 2020. A supplemental appropriation of $40,000 to account 1,760-720 buildings. And that is the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Second resolution, I'm sorry, I need to take a vote. Mike?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Resolution 2020-24. This is for supplemental appropriations to pay for the paving of Adam Hall and Town Hall parking lots. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Jaga County, Ohio, that the following supplemental appropriations are necessary to pay for the paving of Adam Hall and Town Hall parking lots. Supplemental appropriation of $3,723 to account 1,120,360 contracted services, and $7,200 to account 1,120,420 operating supplies. And that is the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Mike?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
All right. That's all that I have.
So Fred, when do you get to talk with Chuck and,
We haven't set a date yet. He actually texted me to my personal, to my phone number, and he said that apparently it's been a rough day for a lot of entities at the budget hearings, but we will set up a date within the next few days to talk to him. I expressed my concerns in my reply to him, and we do need to meet with the Budget Commission, I believe, before the end of the month to finalize things. And I will report back to the
Who's
board.
head of the budget commission this year?
Pardon me?
Who's head of the commission?
I don't know that I think Jim Flays is the chairman this year, I'm not positive.
Okay, we have one other thing, we have to set some fees for the large item trash drop-off. In the past, we had cars and small truckloads, $7, full-size pickups, $10.
I'd say we just stick with the pricing we used in the
Okay.
past.
There's a motion and a second.
That's a motion. $7 a carload, $10 a small truckload. And there's no charge for tires up to 8. The
Okay.
limit.
And those are all staying the same?
Yeah, same as before.
All
Yeah.
right. Mike,
Yes.
John?
Yes. And the big thing, of course, proof of residency. We have two guys who are gonna help us on senior item day. And we need to set a fee, we thought $15 an hour would be fine.
Sure.
Never did, so we'll set a fee for $15 an hour for supplemental manpower for senior cleanup day.
I'll second.
These are independent contractors, correct?
Pardon?
Independent contractors?
Oh, yeah, they'll be independent contractors.
And how many
I
now?
believe two.
How many hours are we estimating?
6
How many?
apiece.
Okay.
6 a day or 6 total hours?
Mike,
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Okay, Fred, just one thing, confirm we got everything in for both the levies and everything.
Yes.
It's fine.
Everything was submitted to the Board of Elections. It was receipted in. I don't have any comments back from them, which is a good thing. So apparently they accepted everything as submitted.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, motion of all motions.
I have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mike,
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Excuse me, the September meeting, in as much as the fair is not going on, except the junior fair, will the next meeting be on Monday, Labor Day, or will it be the Tuesday following?
We always have it on Tuesday, don't we?
Typically you do,
We won't be meeting on Monday.
oh, so it will still be on Tuesday.
after Labor Day.
Okay.
Only thing you can serve.
They're him to me,
That's for sure.
or her.
It's a good.
And if any of you have any questions about the budget or the budget hearing, I'm happy to discuss.
I would like to discuss that.
You know, Fred, this is an ongoing problem.
Thank you again. I'll let you know.
You'll be up there
Somebody needs to
Huh?
have a
You'll
fundamental
be up there,
understanding of how those.
No,
reports are
Wednesday.
generated.
Wednesday.
Yeah, I'll be here Wednesday. I'm not gonna watch them run plastic
Yeah.
in the
I read
ground.
about this.
you know.
Yeah.
I wanna see the tour on Wednesday.
Were you there today?
Do the
No, I was
inspection,
not.
so
I totally forgot about it.
I figure I'll
Probably
call
come to the next
Ken
meeting.
tomorrow and Larson right after that, see what he's doing.
Yeah, I'll let
He
you
may have
know.
already called him, I
By
don't know.
surprise?
I doubt it, but he
Pardon me?
did.
Did this take you
I
by
told him to
surprise?
call.
Absolutely by
Did you?
surprise, this is out of
Okay.
left field.
I
This
wanna-
is- Here's
wanna get
another
the door
problem,
first.
is that we get these
to help
reports,
them, you know, if we can do.
the minute I sit down, I
design
get
build.
this report from the
We did
budget
on
commission.
Yours?
So I
That's
don't
the way
get to
do
see it
You know,
at any
Yeah, if I hear
time
anything else, I'll let
prior
you know,
to the
but,
hearing.
okay.
yeah, I'd call, yeah.
How
Yeah, I wouldn't mind
waste
using
of time
the
is that?
humble again,
So
But
I
you, I
You
thought
know,
you generated the report.
especially if we get Joe Olson.
I submit our
Well, I would
budget,
insist.
Okay.
but then they
Yeah.
create
I did
a
last time, that was
report,
okay.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
As long as he
which
knows
I
ahead
get
of
a new
time,
copy of.
he works it out.
Oh,
which
yeah, planning now.
This is
So,
what
Yeah,
one of the
Okay.
members of the commission was
take care of
referring to.
yourself.
Send me a text when you're up there Wednesday, I might stop over and see it.
Okay, yeah. I'll be around.
Second to last.
That should be around, I got
uh,
2 o'clock
all
meeting.
day.
And I can remember the
Yeah,
I'll be
I'll be
here, I
question.
just up
Second
here,
to the last
pick
page
up
of
one of
the
those
report.
checks and take it to the,
I gotta do something.
to
Um,
Byler,
I
you know,
thought
the
it
installer.
Christmas.
But then once I get there,
the
I'll be there
problem
all
down
day.
Lake Martin.
report,
Yeah, I'll be there
the
all
only
day.
thing that it does
Okay,
is
Chief.
calculates
See you, Jim, be safe.
prior year's
I mean,
estimated.
I can
Ending
function
balance.
fine, like I can talk to you just
So
fine.
if you take the time to
But,
look
you know,
at
one
the
thing I wanna
report,
do is like, when I'm laying in bed watching
one
TV,
example,
What level do you
on
have
the
to
report, it
TV
says
at?
$46,669
We're
for
running
the
about-
general fund.
I don't know,
That's not what I submitted to the
18,
to the
19,
budget
20.
commission
Oh, well, that's not very much.
in
No,
July.
but again, that's quantitative, it, you know,
So-
depending
My
on the type of TV.
estimated ending
No, I mean, it's not like, I can hear you just fine.
balance was
No problem with talking to you.
$271,964.
It's just certain frequencies that
That is
like
exactly what
Brian and I
is
work with.
in the 2021
Especially when I'm asking,
starting
it's like, all I hear is.
on their
Do you wear
report.
masks during work?
But yet they report that it's
well-
$46,669.
He's very anal about this
Who
stuff,
actually writes that report from the auditors
so,
office?
you know,
Pardon
we
me?
weren't,
Who actually writes that
but
report?
then, you know.
It's
they've got
generated from the auditor's office.
mandatory
and I
state
don't have
thing
a
that if you're
problem
in
with the
a,
report
so
itself,
what we do is, yeah, when we're all in our workspaces, we don't wear them,
My
but if we're walking
problem
common
is-
areas, just,
that if
It's like-
you're going to
you know, maybe
tell
once a
me
week,
that
you'll
I
actually be coming down the
estimated
hall, we would say, it's like 4 of us in there.
$46,669,
At any given time, so, and 5,000 square
that's
feet.
patently false. What
So just
I
to shut 'em off, I-
estimated was
So now when I go and get my coffee, go back, take a bag off.
The
Everybody
report
takes
is
it off when they're in their work
calculating
areas,
that
just walking
number.
through the common
I know
areas.
this is hard to,
Which year you?
Right, I'm not-
we're talking numbers, it's hard to,
Yeah.
it's hard to, it's hard
My
to
brain
grasp.
just goes.
But if you,
Well, it used to be
that
that
number
right.
is generated
That's when I
because
first found out.
they are looking
Like,
at my
oh, it's
prior
something wrong with
year's
the damn receiver.
estimates
From
from
here,
2019.
All of a sudden, it's like,
So they're saying, well, back in
That's me.
2019,
so now I've been using my left ear.
you estimated that this year you'd end up with
Then I can hear just fine.
$46,000.
Right, I can barely hear it.
Which
If
I,
was
which
to try to
still
listen to
isn't
the
true,
phone
but I don't
every
even,
year I could
you know,
hear
we can
something.
delve deeper and
Yeah.
deeper into this
You probably
rabbit
have the same
hole.
thing that, you know, I said, mine, I would've got a hearing test, you know.
Nothing
My
is
left ear,
different,
you know,
there's
it's
nothing
like
different
pretty
here.
much a level
Which is
curve.
why I don't
So,
understand why,
my right ear is like, you know,
You know,
starting
I-
low frequency to
So
high
I
frequency.
don't
is
get
like-
it.
What you're saying is, where did they get that,
So
where
it just drops
really
off.
I just
did
don't,
that number come from?
no,
Like
no,
I
the
said, these things
numbers, I'm not arguing with the report, Diane.
And again, I don't
The
even,
numbers
where,
that the
like I said, I
auditor
don't even hear.
generates
Yeah,
are, that's
So
what
I-
they've
I've
calculated.
just been taking it to work.
It's,
That's kinda cool.
The
You know, you put it,
interpretation
you know,
of two of
it
the
depends
board
around, so you
members
can go
of
to the
those
left ear or the
numbers
right ear.
that I don't
Got an on-off
agree with.
switch.
Yeah, we were
This
there.
goes behind your ear.
So it's-
You
know, I-
controls.
I get
Yeah.
that, you know, I know, how I can do the math and I can come up with the same numbers,
I can turn it.
but it's
Turn it on.
it's not reflecting anything to do with reality or anything to do with what I've
So
submitted to the
swing that
budget
behind your ear
commission.
and just plug that in.
And I can't, I wasn't there for the whole day. I know Chuck told me that it was a
You weren't
rough
the
day
only
for a
one.
lot of people.
You were not the only.
He told me it was a rough day for a lot of people.
I just saw plays it
And
weeks ago, he said.
My, you know, I'm gonna be really skeptical here, but two of the board members are up for election and I think
Can you hear me now?
may have been grandstanding a bit. You know,
That's
I
what
don't
mean,
know.
it's just enough.
I don't know, because we've been
And I've
through
got it
this.
set pretty much for high frequency, so
I've
you
been
probably
doing
got the
this
same
since
thing going.
2013.
Right, and we've been to those hearings, and there have been times when.
Yeah, 'cause I don't have it set that
You know,
loud.
there's been,
You know, I have it
you
set
know,
to buy.
yes, there's been times when
This
there's
costs
been
you
mathematical errors,
$37?
which I expect them to
Yeah, I
call
think
me
they're
out on.
like
But to call me out
54
on
bucks
something
now,
like
they have like a
this,
5% this,
it's baffling and it makes no sense to me.
for that thing.
So I don't
Well,
You know,
you
just
were
know,
bought 60
frustrated, there's no
batteries for it
question
for
about
10
it.
bucks.
You were frustrated.
I don't have, you know, and
So,
I'm there
it's not
for
worth
10
it. I
minutes,
mean,
I don't have
I
time to
just
go
read
through
the reports on
everything
that, one of
and
those
do the
like,
math to
happens
figure
if
out where
you
they're coming
go-
up with these numbers, but as soon as I got back to the office, sure as heck, I'm going
What
back through
happens
these
if you
numbers and
go
I'm trying to
in a-
figure out
In a
where are
crowded
they
room.
coming up with these
okay,
numbers?
that's where
I
it
mean,
got a little
he's
freaky
telling
and
me that-
because I had it adjusted.
I mean, the
Yeah.
one that really frustrated
I got it
me
at
was
Christmas. I
under
went
our
to,
fire
uh,
levy fund. You
it
know,
was off
one
for
of the
Christmas.
one of the commission members is telling
And
me
we went to,
that 15, you know, I'm estimating
I think it was
we're only gonna have
Roses and,
$15,548
an Italian place,
in the fire fund.
and this place like,
I never estimated
Open-
that. I
open
estimated we're
ceiling.
gonna have $127,225.
but you know, you come in and
It's
all
in
of
my
a sudden
budget.
somebody's
You
like
can
clink
read it in
glasses
my
and
budget
stuff, and
that I
it's like,
submitted.
whoa, you have to turn it way down.
So
Because-
I was,
Yeah, sometimes you'll have to adjust it, but the volume's easy, I mean,
not being able to figure
All you
out
do
where
is
they're
it's,
coming up with these numbers, it's so far out of left field,
see
I don't know
on-off
how to.
switch here.
So how does
defend
that
myself.
impact your ability?
This is just a
to
toggle for
do,
volume up, volume down,
A second budget.
and then this,
I don't know.
compressor, it'll beep once.
That's why I'm
beep
gonna
twice,
talk
beep
to
three, then
Chuck,
check
and I'm
different
gonna try to
frequencies.
figure
You
out,
just-
do
all
I
you
just
gotta
need to
do
go
is
in
try
and
it out, see what works
explain,
best for it.
you
It's
know,
like $50.
the,
And
the
they've got
difference between
another
these
one that's
numbers?
actual, it goes $23. And it's an actual,
I
just
don't,
like
you
just
know,
a.
so I don't know, I don't
Put it
know
in the ear. And it's got.
how I'm
There's
going
nothing that
to,
goes behind
I
your
can't
ear.
go in, see, I can't
There's
go in
nothing
and
that
go
goes
to
behind your
the
No, it just
auditor's
goes right in
computer
here, like a
and
regular-
change the numbers in
Regular
there.
hearing aid.
I only have the numbers that I
Most
have.
of the ones I've seen, they go behind
So
your ear
it's
and in your ear.
frustrating, I mean, I know we'll work it.
My dad has this
I have a lot of
thing that goes
confidence in
behind
our
his ear,
auditor.
and there's a little
We have
tube
a very, very good
that goes in
auditor
his ear.
He's very good.
who
And
is
that
very
tube fills
detail
up with
oriented
earwax
and
all the
knows,
time.
Yeah, well, this thing
he
does too,
knows the
but
system, he
you know,
knows
they
how
give you
it
a little thing to
operates.
clean it
He's
out,
very
like I said,
good.
this thing
And he
just,
appears to be
they come with,
quiet
like,
and level-headed.
different ones of these,
Yeah.
different sizes to
Yeah.
fit your ear.
He is,
So
he's
the
very
state-
level
Yeah,
headed.
it's just pliable
He,
rubber, it just comes
yeah.
off, you can wash
Yeah,
it.
so-
He knows,
yeah.
he knows how this
Let's
works,
see if I can find that one, 'cause
so I'm gonna work with him.
if I had just
and
bought
figure
batteries
out,
for this,
you know, what presentation I can give to the budget commission to.
I would've got one of these.
Several
Here it
years
is.
Get
back,
beyond this.
Newberry Township was.
There's mine, right there.
I mean, the
$54.95.
hearing they had,
And then it tells you how to get a 15%
and they had to
discount.
go through another budget.
So-
I mean,
But the one I saw,
the hearing you had this morning was nothing compared to the Newberry hearing
Right.
of about 3 years ago.
Right, I remember that,
Oh.
yeah.
And they came in today, and it was perfect. There was absolutely
Right.
nothing wrong, and it,
Yeah,
so it's curious. I'm more curious about the lack of consistency.
whole thing plugs right into
It's,
your ear.
it's frustrating
$25.
and it's misleading as far as I'm concerned. It really needs, you know,
Yeah.
you said
Well,
consistency.
it's,
is
you know,
key.
depending on what's wrong, you know, if you got some like really weird stuff, then you have to get like a real specialty thing, but, you know, mine's pretty generic, it's just,
Yet,
the high frequency's cut off, so this thing's got some bands that amplify the high
Right.
frequency.
What caused your hearing loss?
Chuck Walter and.
I have no idea.
What's her face, I can't.
Bev,
think
it was
were when
probably
you started
Bev
losing your
Sustar
Bev
at that time.
Sustar, yeah.
And Chuck and his staff have always been
I wanna
great.
say-
I've,
Well, I
you
did
know,
notice
I have
it,
nothing
but in
but the
hindsight,
most praise for them.
Right.
you know,
It's
I'd say about
just-
5 years.
I honestly
Oh, that's all?
wonder about,
Yeah, because I remember I was
do the
I was
other
working
people
on a
on the
stereo
commission
I
have a
bought,
fundamental
surround
grasp
sound.
of how reports are generated and where
And-
those numbers come from? That's my only
So I
concern.
took it to work and I had things sitting here and I had 2 speakers.
And, you know,
I'm
please,
sitting there and it's like,
look at my budget, I gave you guys copies of my
last
budget.
week on that.
Look at my budget and look at the numbers that they have plugged
They
into this
sound the
report.
same.
And in particular, it's,
Then after the telephone
you
debacle.
know, what they were rallying on was the
That's why I
second
was
to
having trouble
last
trying to balance that thing,
uh,
because my ear was off.
page of the
You know,
report.
Gene, my buddy Gene,
Page 5?
he's deaf like I am. and he's
One,
from the telephone.
two,
And he wears a headset all day
three,
long.
four, page
Has for
4.
40 years,
This one with the,
and he's so
Arrows
deaf
on
in
it.
the ear that the headset went.
and I will
He had
admit,
that
you know,
headset cranked all
Auburn
the way up
Township
to
has
be able
had,
to hear anything.
you know,
I
we've
never had a
been
headset, but
working
I,
on getting
you
our
know,
cash balances
Again, like you,
reduced
spend a lot of time on the phone, I
because
always
we
use
had
my right hand and right
large
ear, so.
and unexpected,
I would say
well,
I
we
used
had
to
large
spend
rollovers. We've been working on that
Easily
to the point where
6
I'm, you
hours
know,
a day.
they say that fiscal officers are paranoid, but
So,
I'm
like I
a
said,
little
that's a
paranoid about
possibility,
how
but
we're
that's
gonna
what.
pay the expenses
I
that
don't
we're
wanna hear about this
accumulating.
bullshit anymore.
Yeah.
Because we've,
I don't feel like I can
we've
stand
eaten
it.
into our cash balances on
I
those
certainly
funds.
will.
Oh, here, take that with me.
I think you, referred to that at the special meeting.
I did, and I think,
Huh?
you know, I think our auditor got that,
So you-
and he
Yes.
tried to explain how these are floating numbers and they're based on estimates, but even that doesn't even explain the discrepancy between what they're reporting and what I submitted.
It probably didn't help that you got there a couple of minutes late. and-
I did, I had trouble finding the room.
Yeah, you.
Well, yeah,
that's
They probably gave you the, he's
That's
late.
probably why that's
The
probably
he's
why
late
they're so
penalty.
hard on me.
Well, they were gonna go on without you.
Okay.
Wow. No, it was an interesting session, and we stayed until about noon. It was,
Yeah, so off the record, did anybody else get any
oh, yeah.
spanking?
Yeah, I was thinking, you know, all this extra money we got now, we may not need a levy.
I believe Thompson did, we didn't stay for the
I'm
afternoon.
sure Russell did.
No, Blaze told me Russell was before.
Really?
Yeah. That surprised me.
That's very
That's
He
surprising.
told me that, listen.
Hey, John.
Take it easy considering the,
Oh,
yeah.
that really, that is surprising.
Yep.
Well, thanks for listening to me babble and express my frustration. Just whatever.
Who all, I haven't, covered one of these budget hearings, but who all actually serves on the budget commission?
The auditor, Chuck Walter, the treasurer is Chris Hitchcock, and the prosecutor, Jim Blaze.
And each one of them can put in members of their staff, it doesn't have to be them personally.
So they're gonna have like members fill in for them during the
Yeah.
hearings?
Yeah,
Yes.
I've never encountered that myself.
Yeah, yeah, so Caroline will sometimes sit in for Chris,
Okay,
and, on a couple occasions, we've seen an assistant prosecutor, and who else? Well, I don't think I've ever seen anybody sit in for, the auditor,
okay,
but the other two, yeah.
all right.
But, yeah, he was.
Well, go look at the numbers yourselves. I've
We'll,
explained
We'll try to understand.
my side of it, but I just was very frustrated and obviously didn't have the time to analyze everything and defend myself at that
So
hearing,
you're gonna
so.
meet with Walter one-on-one.
I'm gonna meet with Chuck one-on-one.
Do you have any idea when that will be?
I have no idea, it's
Before August 31st is all they
gonna
said.
be before the end of the month
Right.
because they need to have their budgets done by the end of the month, so.
Right.
Probably within the next few days, I would
Were
imagine.
the other townships not approved?
Oh,
I
yeah.
have no idea.
Chester was not approved.
Okay,
So
they'll have to have the,
and
I'd be over it.
I think
Yeah.
Clarendon too, weren't they?
was who?
Was it Clarendon was not approved? Clarendon,
Clarendon.
yeah.
Clarendon was,
Do they have a, I don't remember if they have a new fiscal officer or not.
you know, who
But
was
that can be
there?
an issue when we have a new fiscal
It
officer.
was the newest trustee, Tiberius, whatever his name is. It was him, and I've got it marked down. I think it was their fiscal officer.
Yeah, I have the record somewhere, but
Fred,
I'd take a look at that.
when you meet again with the auditor, is
Yes,
that gonna be a public
Is that
meeting?
public?
that was, I don't believe so with the auditor. I believe it was just to discuss issues. I'd have to discuss that with him and see if that needs to be an open meeting.
If it's an open meeting, we'd be happy to attend.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
if
you
it's
get
an
video.
open meeting, obviously we'll have to, let people know, but he offered to go over issues in the budget. The only issue that he particularly pointed out was that there may be some money that wasn't transferred out of a fund that should have been transferred out.
Yeah.
But that was, I mean, compared to the other things that were raised, that's pretty minor. I mean, that's just a math issue. But
So the other two will not be involved in this meeting, it'll just be Chuck Waldron.
it's just to review the reports that the auditor generated.
So the UON report,
Pardon me?
is it done through UON?
No. I submit a report that's done through UAN, okay?
Yeah.
And UAN has checks and balances so that I'm not reporting incorrect information. Their report is, I do not have any idea how they generate their report, and I'm not calling it into question. Again, the only thing that I am wondering about is the other two commissioners' understanding of that report.
Well, the one individual does this annually.
Correct.
We refer to it as good cop, bad cop. And typically, in the
Well,
end,
the
they're,
one particular individual I see once a year, and I've never seen that particular individual show up at any township meetings or any township association meetings or any other meetings. I see him once a year, so I'm gonna just stop myself there.
right, right. But,
And the other individual is, well, they're both up for election, so. it's an
yeah,
election.
well, he's got his own
And
baggage.
neither one's opposed.
Uh-huh. So. Okay.
All right, well, I've had enough, so
It's time to get out.
taking you out of my building.
Actually, what was the comment that Chuck Waldron made? I'm surprised that UAM lets you in.
Yes, that was in regards